if you want to go ahead and get started, and then I'll kind of add to as well. So
Yeah, so I just got the link from Isaiah just a few minutes ago, so I wasn't sure if this morning was happening or not. But yeah, Brian, I didn't have a chance to talk to you beforehand. What is today's class about?
So today it's about all the apps and things like MLS, ShowingTime, mortgage calculators, Sentrilock. Basically, if you can work these apps and these websites functionally well,
Yeah.
you'll be golden.
Okay. Okay. Well, to pile on that, Ruoff has a very handy agent app that we have. You can get it off of the App Store or whatever Apple's store is called, and download that, and gives you access to quite a few things to keep track of your pipeline and any deals that you have working with Ruoff, as well as a link to our marketing department where you can go in and search literally thousands of different marketing pieces that we have available for you guys to use. As long as you don't mind having My Ugly Mug or whatever Ruoff loan officer that you're working with on there with you as a co-branded deal, it is absolutely free for you guys to use. So I guess I don't know how much stuff is provided by KW. Is a lot of it that you kind of have to go outside of Keller to get a lot of marketing materials, or do you guys have an in-house corporate type thing? Or
We have some in-house stuff, and then some people use websites like Canva and things like that. But inside of Command, which is our system, there's a thing called Designs. But some people rather partner somebody, rather do other things. But
yeah, okay, well that's available, and I can get some information out to you guys. I think I've still got the email list, so maybe
yeah,
I'll shoot out an email with a link to the agent app and how to get on there and check all that stuff out.
that'll be perfect.
Right.
So again, like we always talk about, great partners matter. We've had deals. We had 2 deals recently with other lenders fall apart at the 11th hour and trying to get an answer. So you need a partner that you can trust. And this is where finding great lenders is a big part of it. I mean, you did it in Florida, right? Real estate. So Megan came here from Florida, so she was transferred up to Indiana.
Awesome.
But you know how important a great lender is. So
Yeah, especially
local to Indiana. Are you guys in Florida?
Yeah, we are. We've got an office in small office in Sarasota, and I personally am licensed in Florida. We have a house, like a vacation home down in Cape Coral, so I spend a little bit of time down there, and very familiar with the market.
Very good, very good. So some multiple states. So if you still want to do stuff down there, so I'm not sure where in Florida you were, but okay, very good, very good. So well, thank you, Doug.
You bet. Awesome. Have a great day, guys.
You too.
All right, see you.
We're going to start in the MLS. So if you guys want to get logged into that, to the MLS, that's where we're going to spend a lot of our time today, because we can get access to just about everything in there. So I've never seen Florida, so I honestly don't know. Oh, I see what you're saying. By and large, it's pretty similar. There's small tweaks. Indianapolis is completely different. So the IRMLS is basically, I forget how many boards throughout Indiana there are. They basically all syndicate to each other. So we can see stuff all the way down in Evansville, but there's a hole in the middle of the state around Indianapolis. Their board's called My Board, Middle Indiana Board of Realtors. They will not syndicate to the IRMLS. So you cannot see any of their listings. You have to go on like Zillow or something to find their listings, and then call the agents directly. It's kind of a pain. I don't know why they do it that way, but. Oh, really? Yeah, no, your dues pay as long as they belong to the IRMLS. And I think My Board is about the only one. Now that's a huge one because it's Indianapolis area, so you can imagine how many things they're doing down there. But yep. So right here, this is the enhanced homepage. And then if you scroll down a little bit, we have access to a lot of things. Paragon is the MLS. That's where we're going to be focusing today, along with ShowingTime. We'll talk a little bit about Sentrilock. So different markets will have different lockbox systems. We have some that are Superbox, some are Sentrilock. Since most of us use Sentrilock, we'll focus on that. RPR is another great resource. We will not be talking about that today, but Michael Vandergrift, we're going to have him teach another class on this because it is a great resource to run comparables and find information out about different houses. So we'll go ahead and open up Paragon. And again, we're going to go fairly fast today, and we're going to talk just broad strokes. So right here on the homepage, again, not a fancy looking homepage, but it is what it is. Where's the rest of the homepage? There we go. So right here under Paragon, here's webinar signups. So they're doing their own trainings all the time, and then Paragon short training videos, and then recorded webinars. So again, since we're going to go so fast today and you don't have your login yet, these will be great resources as well. And again, this is a class we do every month. So once you have your sign up, feel free to come back. You need a refresher, or if you got questions, you know, always feel free to come back to this class. A little bit further down, they took it off. Oh, they took it off. So part of, are you going to be joining Upstart, do you think, or different? Okay. So part of that is they used to have a big box right here. I don't know why they took it away, but forewarn. So we talk about agent safety a lot. Leah, have you signed up for forewarn yet? You can just do a thumbs up or no. Okay. So forewarn is included in your Upstart dues, and it's a way to do background checks on people. So if you get a sign call, always double check. We had one recently. Luckily, they didn't go meet, but they got a sign call, and it's like 16 arrests, 3 felonies, some violent felonies. And this agent was like, I'm good. That's why it's there. But we'll have to get the link when you guys need it. I don't know why they took it away, but we'll get the link and send it out. Right here, right side, all these red lines. These are the market monitor. And again, this is all of Paragon or the IR MLS. So when it's on 802 new listings, that's everywhere. And these are clickable links. So if we go ahead and click here, you're going to see, I mean, I have no idea where LaFontaine, Indiana is, but there's Boonville, there's Bloomington, that's 3 hours south, Lebanon, Lafayette's 2 hours. So again, this is everything. But again, why this is important, the 7-day window, and you can change this how many days. If every time you log in, that number dwindles down, we know, hey, inventory is dropping. Expireds, that's for what we've seen, this is getting to be a lot more expires. We've had where there's like 12 expireds, you know, so this is a lot. And then the price change really is an indicator. 564 houses in the last 7 days have updated the price. That's, you know, it's getting to be a lot. And here's the deal, the rates are high. So we're really seeing it affect especially those first-time home buyers. And I always think in terms of graphs. I feel like we've been doing this and it hasn't mattered. Like the market's been doing this, why rates are doing this. I think we finally turned the corner. Do you know what rates are? Have you looked up rates in the last couple of days by chance?
We're over, I looked on Fannie Mae's website, they were 7.1 last Friday.
Yeah.
So they usually update weekly.
Yeah. So I think for a lot of buyers, especially the sub $400,000 buyer, I think we've got to where rates now matter. We've hit that kind of, probably gonna have to wait it out a minute because cost has just gotten so. Where is it?
Absolutely not. Yeah, still trying to.
Yeah.
Brian, how about himself?
I'm good. Thank you. So now outside the market monitor across the top, there are all the things. And again, we're going to talk about searches today, and we're going to talk about the tax. But you can see there's a lot. There's the membership. So you can see the entire roster in the Upstart MLS. Taxes. We're going to focus on Allen County today, but you can see every county is listed here that we serve. Here's the deal. I do not know why this is. Every county tax site's different. You think you're in the state of Indiana, but no, they're all set up differently. They all operate differently. It's kind of a pain, to be perfectly honest. What's that? Yeah, in Florida, like, is it,
No,
right, but you lived in Florida, right? Yeah,
well,
so,
go ahead.
yeah, so in Florida, like, where all the tax sites different, because you said county by county, yeah. I just don't understand, like, if you're in this state, like, why not just have, like, just change the, I don't know. It always drives me nuts, so we're gonna focus on Allen County today, but if there's another county you're gonna specialize in, so let's say you're gonna work up north, let's just say DeKalb County. Get on that tax site, get used to how it lays out, how it operates. So any county that you're gonna do multiple deals in a year potentially, just get really familiar. So I'm gonna go get the seat shut off really quick. It's probably hard for them to hear. All right, so starting across the top, again, we're gonna work on the search. So the way it's set up, residential, these are all single family homes. Investment properties, these are duplexes or bigger. Lots and land and commercial, pretty self-explanatory. The one caveat I'll give you for commercial, most commercial brokers do not belong to our MLS. They use websites like LoopNet and Craigslist. Then residential for lease, commercial for lease, these are rentals. We don't do too much with rentals. We can, they just don't pay a lot. So, you know, for best use of our time, probably not the best use, but you can just understand your payment might be like $100. So, but most of the time, again, we're doing broad strokes here today. We're gonna just focus in on residential. Because again, this is where a majority of our searches will be. Here's the other caveat I'll give you. Be very careful about over qualifying or being so specific on the houses that you're looking for. You might miss out on something that's just outside of those criteria that could be a great fit for our clients. And two, this is only as good as the agents that inputted it, and there's a lot of agents that do not pay attention. So they might make mistakes. So for instance, if it's like a 1,500 square foot house your client wants, don't be afraid to start maybe like 1,300. Again, layouts can be different, things like that. So all of them make sense except for area to me. This is county. I don't know why they just don't call this county. But if you're ever lost on what the options are, click on the little magnifying glass and it's going to give you everything you need. And you can check the little boxes next to it. Hit save, and then they'll pop up. Or once you get comfortable, you know what you're looking for, you can start typing and hit enter, and they will pop up. So status, auction. Again, we don't do tons with auctions. We can, but there's just not tons of auctions in our community. Going on down, address. Again, if you have a range, you can do that. All the way down. And we know the biggest things people are looking for, it's either going to be school district, zip codes, or particular subdivisions, which you'll find right here. There's a lot here already just by default. But if you ever want to add more, just go to customize and fields. Everything on the right-hand side is what you already got. Everything on the left is what you could add if you wanted. So the big one we see people wanting, especially this time of year, are lakes. So if we type in water, we can put water name. Hit apply and save. All right, there's water. So we can just say Lake James. Let's say that's a big one. So you can be that specific. Again, be very careful. It could be on waterfront and the agent forgets to put that it's on waterfront. So it may take some qualifying and you scrolling photos, reading the descriptions and things like that. Okay. Any questions so far? I'm going to go ahead and hit search and we're going to pull up an active house here, hopefully. There we go. Ooh, here's a nice one. $2.1 million. Anybody's got a few dollars laying around. So here's the deal. When you're in the beginning, you're not showing that many houses, remembering details about the houses. I don't want to say it's easy, but it's easier. Okay. As time goes on, you're going to be showing lots of houses, talking to a variety of clients. remembering all the details of all the houses becomes impossible. That's where learning how this detail sheet right here is laid out is so important. No matter the house that's residential, the information's in the same spot. If you want to know year built, you know it's on the right-hand side, just below agent numbers. If you want to know the price, you know to look in the top right corner. You're gonna know days on market, so DOM, days on market, 149. Right next to that, if it's been listed, expired, went back on the market, that's combined days on. So those can't, a lot of times you'll see they're the same number, but they could be different. But reading through this, knowing where to find the information, like, hey, what kind of heating is this again? Don't worry about stuffing that into your brain. You can just look on your detail sheet that you printed out for yourself. Oh, this is geothermal heat and cooling. So you just learn these little spots to look, and you can have the information. And our client doesn't care how we get it. Don't think it's going to make them feel a certain way. Now across the top. So this icon right here, the D icon, that's documents. So these are all the associated documents the agent has listed. So personal property available for purchase. That'd be one you want to print out. $10,000 for a doc. Oof. I guess if you can afford a $2.1 million house, that's like nothing though. So, man. Floor plan, that's a great one. Like this isn't available for most people. There's nothing saying you couldn't have this designed out. That could be something you guys put in your listing presentation. Imagine how helpful that would be, especially if the layout really matters to a client. And sometimes in pictures, I always try to lay it out like, all right, I walk into the house and I turn to the right. And I try to do my pictures systematically where you can kind of put it together. Some agents just, here you go, and they just mass upload. This could be a great thing if you get your hands on this, or if you're really handy and you can design it yourself. But here's the big one. The seller's disclosure. Why is this one so important? Do we remember why? So.
I mean, I can see it.
Yeah. So, yeah. So I always tell my sellers this, and Lay's getting ready, she's working on a house, she's getting ready to list. So what I would tell her if she wasn't in real estate, if she was my client, like ignorance is not bliss. The truth will come out at some point. This is, as a seller, your chance to disclose that there's something wrong with my. You never want to be caught hiding the truth. We had a situation a few years ago, and I want to say it was about the furnace and AC. No, it was about the drainage, something about the drainage in the backyard. People move in and it kept raining and the water being held. I mean, it was bad. It goes coming back towards the house and all, just a lot of issues. And it was like a sump pump. It was like a whole mess of things. Well, who the buyers ended up calling were the company that the sellers called. We're not happy with the quote they got, so they just didn't say anything. They knew that there was something wrong, but by pure luck, these buyers called the same exact company. And they're like, we were here like 6 months ago. And we told the other people, blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh, really? Can we get a copy of that? You know, that kind of thing. Ignorance is not bliss. So if you mark it down, so you're selling a house, you mark down furnace is not, inspection's done. Everything signed, accepted. We do the inspection. Only thing they find is the furnace doesn't work. They want to back out of the deal. You are now off the hook. You disclose to those buyers that furnace doesn't work and I'm not doing anything about it. And if they back out, you keep the earnest. So read this as the agent, study this ahead of time. I got in the habit of doing this because I'm like, all right, well here, actually, perfect. So garage door opener controls defective. Wonder if that's right or wrong. Interesting. I don't know. But again, this is a pure judgment thing. If you can afford $2.1 million, you probably can buy a $100 opener. You would think, but hey. Again, that's a pure judgment. It could be wrong. So this is why. So okay, now we know the inspection comes up with the garage door issue. We are not to ask for it. You want to point this out to your client. Don't assume they're going to read this. And I'll read this before we go see a house. I'm showing clients houses now. where I know the primary bedroom size matters. So every time they're like, hey, can we see this house? First thing I do is I go look, what's the primary bedroom size? Same thing here. If you know, like there's a deal breaker, they're not going to mess with foundation issues. Get in here, go to page 2 and make sure there's no issues. So, but if you see something like that, I mean, that just seems really odd. I would call the agent, ask like, hey, is this accurate? Now, preparing for showings, I always say print out the agent detail sheet, which is this one. So you can see residential agent full detail right there at the top. The only difference is these agent remarks are on this one. For your client, you want to print out the client full detail. And you can just print both of those, print a sales disclosure for both of you. I'd print out that list of stuff to buy for both of you, things like that. We're trying to make an experience. What can we do to make an experience for our buyer? How can we answer questions before they even know they're a question? Always look at it through that lens. 9 times out of 10, if they get their hands on agent full detail, see the remarks, who cares? You know what I mean? There's not, but sometimes there is information you don't want your clients to see in there, but it's rare. Like if our clients saw these remarks, they're not going to care. I mean, there's nothing proprietary in there. There's nothing that tips the seller's hands. And that's the way it should be. Investment, same thing. Criteria wise, the detail sheets are laid out a little bit different. I'm just going to pull up a random one here. This is duplexes and bigger. Yep. So just pick, it's a decent one. So we'll pick this one. The only difference is right here. It's giving you a breakdown of any lease information. What's the term? What's the rent? Things like that. Then right below that is basically a quick net sheet. Again, these are always laid out the same. So if you start working with investors that are looking for this, understand where everything is because it is slightly different here. And then you can, again, don't worry about memorizing things. Showing time. This is how we're going to schedule showings. All done?
Yep.
Thanks.
Yep.
So showing time you can use via the app on your phone. That's where most people are doing it. But you can do it here as well. The only difference on your phone, you are not able to create what's called a showing cart. So a showing cart, if you're going to do like 5 showings, instead of getting on Google Maps and trying to lay out your showings in a systematic order, showing cart will do that for you. They'll say this is the most logical way. Right here, though, what you're going to see is appointment required. That means this, it's going to be put out. Seller's got to approve it or the other agent. If it says go and show, that's going to automatically approve. If you're going to do multiple showings in a row, I always strongly encourage you to have the go and shows to be last. Because if you get off track, it doesn't matter if you show up to a vacant home. You don't want to be showing up to a house where the seller, if you get it, because it's very easy to get off by an hour when you're seeing that many homes in a row. You don't want to show up to a house and try to coordinate with the seller. Hey, can we come later? That kind of thing. So always try to put the go and shows last. The go and shows. So that if it says go and show instead of appointment required, then they go back one screen here. No, you need an appointment, but it's going to automatically approve it because it's vacant. Nobody's living there. When it says appointment required, somebody wants to approve it. Most times those are occupied. So that means the seller's going to look at that time. Yeah, I can be gone at that time. So you want to do those first because it's easy to keep your first appointments on task. If you get off schedule, though, you want those go and shows, those vacant homes to be last because it doesn't matter if you show up 45 minutes late to a house nobody's living in, right? So schedule a single showing. Anything in black, we can't schedule. Click here. Hit request appointment, and you're going to get an email, a text, whatever you have set up. Any questions on the MLS? So we're gonna go over a couple safety things as we wrap up. So showing time on your phone is a really handy one. It'll create what's called a showing beacon on your phone. So when you're in showing time, you get to your showing, you can turn your phone on, and I don't have any showings coming up, but it'll turn your phone into a beacon. So you can share that location with someone. Sentrilock actually has, and this is what we use to unlock the electronic lock boxes. It has an agent safety timer. So you can pre-program in a phone number. And let's say you set the timer for 30 minutes and you don't shut your timer off for 30 minutes. It will then call that person, you pre-program, hey, so-and-so has not shut off their phone or their timer yet. You may want to check on it. Again, sometimes you're going to show a house to somebody you've never met before. So it's all about being safe. With showing time, Sentrilock, and the MLS, we can use the basic functionalities of these really well, will be fine. Everything else can come with time, but we need to know how to find a home, how to schedule a showing, and how to open a lockbox. We can do all those things, we'll be good. And that kind of leads into our next class. Are you sticking around for the 11 o'clock class? Getting into leverage, like having Harmony or somebody like that, write your offers, manage your transactions. You can have an assistant help you with your command. You can hire somebody to do your marketing. We need to be the one out showing the houses, making the connections and things like that. So, sound good? So once you get your MLS right there on the homepage, do those videos. If you want to do another session, just let me know. And we can do another session. That way you can kind of follow along as you're doing. So Leah or Meg, do you guys have any questions before we wrap up? All right. Well, 11 o'clock, the next class starts. There'll be a different Zoom link.